It's that time once again, the final moment before lights out and the charge down to turn one. Who will come out on top at Paul Ricard today? We'll find out soon as the French Grand Prix gets underway. We have 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. The rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface, but luckily there is plenty of runoff available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. Joining me on this very wet day is a man who's no stranger to driving in miserable conditions. Anthony Davidson, you've driven open cockpit, you've driven sports cars. How does the wet weather experience change between the different disciplines?
Well, I wouldn't say there's much difference in all honesty. You know, besides the terrifying closing speeds you find in sports cars with the different categories all sharing the same track, driving in the rain is, well, driving in the rain. Of course, the biggest difference between the two is the closed cockpit versus the open cockpit. You get the luxury of staying dry in the sports car, but if your screen ever gets dirty, well, that's a pit stop, not just wiping your visor or pulling away a tear off. But most of the time, you know, they're both as miserable as each other, to be honest.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, Stroll and Sergio Perez, Norris, Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen and Grosjean, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Daniel Kvyat and Robert Kubica, Albon and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And now it's time to head down to the track.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy. We're in a good position. second place. You're in second place. Hamilton is ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 1.8 seconds. They're on fresh wets. Gasly is behind you. They're on fresh wets. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap. We've got about 15 minutes of this heavy rain left, after which we should see light rain conditions. Inters and wets will probably have similar pace at the moment. This is your final lap of the race. That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, Crofty, Daniel Ricciardo would have to be my driver of the day. It's less about what he did right, but how little he did wrong. Perfect driving.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.